Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Chapter 8 shripadshrivallabha blesses a Brahmani and her son. Namadaraka. How long Shri Guru Shripadshrivallabha stayed at Gokarna and what happened later? Shri Siddha. Shri Guru lived secretly for 3 years and from there he went to Shrigiri. After 4 months, he went to Nivritti Sangam and there to Kurvapur on the bank of the Krishna river. There lived a Brahmin well versed in Veda and Shastras. He had a good-natured devoted wife, Ambika by name. She begot children, but none survived except one son. In due course, his thread ceremony was celebrated, but he was dull, foolish, and dumb. Hence, the parents were much worried. The Brahmin got tired while training him and at times begged him for not learning his lessons. His wife could not bear this cruel treatment to her only son. The Brahmin died after some time. The woman lived with her son, begging for their livelihood. The boy grew up, but being foolish and poor, no one liked to give one's daughter in marriage to him. People said to him, "Your father was a learned man, but you are like a stone. You have brought disgrace to his family. How are you not ashamed of begging for your living? Better give up your life in the Ganga river." He was aggrieved to hear such harsh words off and on. He therefore intended to give up his life deep waters of a river. Seeing this, his mother said to him in grief, "I shall also accompany you." They both went on the river Krishna. Shripadshrivallabha also had been there. Seeing him, the mother bowed to him and said, "We both have decided to give up our lives in this river. But as committing suicide is a sin, how shall we be relieved of our miseries without being offended?" Shri Guru asked, "Which miseries induce you to give up your lives?" Narrating a whole account, the woman said, "Swami, we visited holy places and observed vratas for getting a son, and after this we got this son. But he is a dullard. All despise him and scold him. I therefore request you to bless me with a son who will be pious like your good self, at least in the next birth. He should prove good for all our further generations." Seeing her devotion, Shri Guru said, "You worship Ishvara, that is Shri Shiva, with devotion and you will have godlike son. Nanda Gavali worshipped God and hence Shri Krishna lived at his home. Your desire will also be fulfilled if you worship him devotedly." The woman asked, "How did the covered worship Shri Hari? What vrat did they observe?" Shri Guru, "On every Shani Pradosh, worship God Shiva." A tale in this respect is narrated in the Skanda Purana. There lived a righteous king, Chandrasena, in Ujjain. Manibhadra was his chief counselor. He worshipped Shri Shiva most devotedly, and Shri Shiva favored him with a most bright Chintamani bead which he had given to his master Chandrasena. A mere touch of the bead turned iron into gold. By mere sight of the bead, one's desire was fulfilled. So, all the other kings desired to have such bead. Many kings tried to get the bead from the king and offered him money for the same, but all efforts were in vain. So they all combined their forces and attacked Ujjain when Chandrasena was engaged in worshipping Shri Shiva on a Shani Pradosh day. The children of the cowherds watched the worship of the king and they also wished to worship Shri Shiva similarly. The boys gathered stones and prepared a Shiva temple and placed one stone as image of Shivalinga and began worshipping it with flowers and other herbs. The mothers of the boys came there and took their sons for meals to their homes. But one boy did not go home. His mother thrashed him angrily and said, "It is night now. Come to have your meals." She broke the temple and threw away the image of Shivalinga. Seeing this, the boy began to weep in grief and intended to give up his life, but after some time he fell asleep. Shri Shiva was pleased with his devotion and created a beautiful temple. A linga of precious stones was installed in it. Shri Shiva awoke the boy, looked at him with affection, and asked him to have a boon from him. The boy was much delighted. He bowed to Shri Shiva and said, "My mother has broken the evening worship. Kindly forgive her." Shri Shiva said, "As your mother has seen the evening worship, she will get a son named Shri Krishna in next birth, and you will also have all the pleasures." The forces of the enemies were emerged. They spoke amongst themselves, "What wonder is this? How this bright, beautiful temple has been created here within a night. Let us give up enmity and see the king who is so virtuous on friendly terms." They sent their messengers to the king. The king requested them to come to the Shiva temple where he would see them. Chandrasena was also wonderstruck to see sun-like bright Shiva temple sprung up during the night. The coward boy's house also looked very bright. The king asked the boy the reason of this miracle. The boy narrated the whole story to all the kings who had gathered there. All were much pleased to hear him. They said, "You really became the king of the cowards." They offered the boy many gifts and land, and accepting Chandrasena, all the kings returned to their places. The boy went home and narrated to his mother all that had occurred. He said, "Shri Shiva was pleased with my evening worship. As I requested him to forgive you even though you had broken the temple, he was not angry with you. Besides, he assured that the incarnation of Shri Krishna will stay at your home." Shripadshrivallabha narrated the significance of Shani Pradosh worship to the Brahmani, and seeing her devotion, placed his palm over the head of her son and blessed him. Eventually, the boy instantly had the knowledge of the Vedas, Shastras, Tark, Bhashya, etc. All the Brahmins and his mother were wonderstruck to see this. The mother respectfully bowed to Shri Guru and said that she was fortunate to see Shri Guru and to get his blessings. She said, "You are God yourself. We shall worship you in the evening. I hope I shall have a son like your good self in my next birth. Let not your words be untrue." Saying this, she began to worship Shri Guru every evening with devotion. Her son got married and had sons and grandsons. Those who are blessed by Shri Guru receive all leisure in the same way. This ends the 8th chapter of Shri Guru. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.